This year, I have been making an intentional effort to enjoy the holidays. And I'm just really bad at slowing down and celebrating. And Thanksgiving is the one holiday that I struggle with the most. When I was a kid, I think many of us have this Thanksgiving memory of sitting at the Thanksgiving table and inevitably someone would say, okay, so what are you thankful for? And then we'd start going around the table having to say what we're thankful for. And by the time it got to little old me, everything good had been used up and I just had to come up with something generic or else I knew I was going to get in trouble. And for whatever reason, that mentality is still what I associate with Thanksgiving. So in preparation for trying to enjoy this holiday, I decided to take a deep dive into gratitude. And what I found was fascinating. The first thing I did in this process was I ended up looking at scientific studies on gratitude. And oh boy, there is a mountain of research that all points to the positive effects of gratitude. Just to name a few, gratitude helps improve sleep. Gratitude helps lower blood pressure. Gratitude motivates you to exercise more. Gratitude actually strengthens your immune system. Gratitude improves your pain tolerance. Gratitude boosts self-confidence. It improves patience. It improves resiliency. It reduces envy and jealousy. It makes you more optimistic. It makes you less materialistic. It makes you more forgiving. And gratitude even helps battle against depression. But you probably knew that already. And I did too, most of it in my gut. I hadn't specifically researched it, but as I kept researching, I realized there was just an overwhelming mountain of positive research on gratitude. And it got me thinking, why doesn't everyone have a gratitude practice of some sort? On the surface, it seems so easy relative to many other self-improvement things that we pursue. Getting in shape, losing weight, fixing your diet, improving your habits, all of those things take a lot of grit and effort, and just being thankful for a brief amount of time takes so little input. But I needed to slow down here because I realized a couple things about myself. Number one, I don't have a dedicated gratitude practice. And number two, I'm extremely biased. I find it very easy to be thankful, grateful, and positive. But I know this is not normal. Not everyone thinks this way, and so I needed some outside perspective. So I called up a few friends from different walks of life to get their perspectives.
I personally view myself as an optimist, but realistically, my friends would probably say I'm more of a pessimist.
This is David. He's one of my dearest friends, and David and I see the world in a very similar way, but we approach problems and solutions very differently.
I think the times I find it hard to be grateful for are when it just feels like it doesn't end.
Life is really happening right now for David. He's married, has a 2-year-old, and they just had another baby.
Hey bud, how's it going?
This is Zach. Zach is one of the best artists I know and has an impeccable fashion sense. Zach's brain is often not their friend.
I have found it very hard recently as well to stay positive and have gratitude because it is just a tough time. A lot of things are disappointing in life, and that's never going to change. And a little more disappointment, I don't think, outweighs just the amount of good feeling that you get when you let yourself be positive.
This is Danny. When I think of someone who is overwhelmingly optimistic and positive no matter what happens, Danny is that person.
I've had different levels of success and opportunity, and those were never my happiest times or the times that I felt the most grateful. Those are usually the times I felt the most worried and had the most anxiety and stuff like that.
As I continued my research, I found an opinion piece in Psychology Today called The Overselling of Gratitude. This article was the first critique I could find of gratitude. The article's thesis is that specific gratitude is fine, but that generic gratitude should not define our way of being in the world. He made 2 other strong points. Number 1, using gratitude as a blanket to hide or ignore the bad things in the world is not the right way to do gratitude. Also, gratitude is sometimes used as a means of civilized oppression. Many a tyrant over the years has used gratitude to oppress their people. You should be grateful for the things you have while they are being maltreated. The second takeaway was that forcing others to express gratitude for something they don't feel is probably not the right way to approach gratitude. Now, interestingly, these qualifications align exactly with the arguments for gratitude from Benedictine monk Brother David Stendhal-Rast. According to Brother David, gratefulness has two key qualities. Number one, appreciation for something you deem valuable. Notice this is specific gratitude, not generic gratitude. And number two, that gratitude must be freely given. I want to share a small excerpt from this article because I think it defines exactly why I haven't liked Thanksgiving in the past. The norm of Thanksgiving seems to be to encourage a particular kind of gratitude, a generic thankfulness for the status quo. Indeed, when one looks at what many describe as the true meaning of the holiday, the message is generally one of announcing that current arrangements, good and bad, are precisely as they should be. It was at this point in the process that I learned about negativity bias. I knew this by feeling and not by name. This is the idea that our brains are more susceptible to negative things than positive things. This is wired into us as a way to survive. But this can backfire in the modern world where most of our daily lives are not spent on basic survival.
Negative experiences teach us. It's a basic thing of, since we're kids, negative reinforcement is something that has been part of life since ever, whether you think it's good or bad or not.
Our brains often focus on the negative now, but often focus on the positive when looking at your past, which is such a frustratingly unhealthy combination.
I think if there's one thing I can say to switch negative to positive is go and serve. You're gonna see people that are way, way, way worse off than you, that are way happier than you, and you're gonna wonder why, and you're gonna seek out their secret formula because everybody can find happiness and everybody can find positivity.
And this is where a gratitude practice becomes so important. It's about fighting our natural human tendencies towards negativity. If you had to define gratitude, what would it be?
For me, when I think about gratitude, I'd say a lot that comes to mind is faith, prayer, and just the overwhelming acknowledgement that I am incredibly blessed. I guess my definition of gratitude is recognizing the things that you had no control over, yet have received in this life.
I think it's beyond any doubt that every single person deserves to hear how grateful we are for each other and to have each other in our lives. I would define gratitude as any form of positive reinforcement towards something that you are thankful for.
Most of the research recommends a gratitude journal of some sort as a starting point, and I have never kept a gratitude journal. And so as I'm doing this, my brain goes, do I need to start doing this? And I think there's a balance between adding something that will be useful and beneficial to your life and it just being another thing that you have to do. And to be honest, I don't know. But I do know that there are a lot of people out there who are hurting, who are overwhelmed with negativity, and that a positive practice like gratitude would be extremely beneficial in their lives. But just like anything in pursuit of living a better life, sometimes now just isn't the right time for whatever reason. We're not ready for it mentally. I know there's been times when I've read a book that has felt like it changed my life, and then I've come back to the book at a different time in my life and realized, well, this is just bland or not relevant to me right now. And I think the same goes for a practice of gratitude. So as I wrap up this exploration into gratitude, this brings me back to Thanksgiving, where it all started. Maybe I've been doing Thanksgiving wrong this whole time. Maybe it's not about generic thankfulness for what I have, but more of a deeper appreciation for what actually matters, for things that are worth being thankful for, even if all the trappings of the Thanksgiving holiday are imperfect. So this Thanksgiving, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to intentionally pause and appreciate not just the surface level things, the family, the food, the comfort, but also the messy, imperfect parts of life. The struggle, the growth, the uncertainty, because as it turns out, gratitude isn't just pretending everything is perfect. It's about appreciating the beauty in everything, even the broken parts, and recognizing that everything, in its own way, has something valuable to offer.
Thanks for talking with me, my guy. Love you.
And happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. God bless you.
Have a great Thanksgiving, and it'll be fun talking to you later. See ya.